Oh man, I'm crazy about Jack Dempsey. Just because of his ferocious intensity. There's no one like him. No one like him.
Hands of bricks, head of steel. Jack Dempsey was a fighter like no other. Nicknamed Kid Blackie, Dempsey's aggressive fighting style and exceptional punching power made him one of the most popular boxers in history. Even the most intimidating fighters recognized that he was on a different level. This is Mike Tyson's idol, Jack Dempsey.
He used to chew pine, so his jaw just became like iron.
On a heavyweight who changed not just his division, but the sport as a whole, Jack Dempsey.
Born William Harrison Dempsey in June of 1895, at the age of 8, Dempsey took his first job picking crops on a farm near Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Over the next few years, he worked as a farmhand, miner, and cowboy to help support his struggling family. During these years, Dempsey's older brother, Bernie, earned extra money as a prize fighter in the saloons of hardscrabble Rocky Mountain towns. It was Bernie who taught young Jack how to fight, instructing him to chew pine tar gum to strengthen his jaw and soak his face in brine to toughen his skin.
Dempsey was hard to hit, and he was a man that used to put brine, beef brine, rub it into his face all the time and toughen his skin.
The Roaring 20s, and it had become as such. Excitement was the name of the game, and Dempsey was feeding it.
He was a good student of boxing.
At the age of 12, he dropped out of school after the 8th grade, though, to begin working full-time. He shined shoes, picked crops, and worked at a sugar refinery, uploading beets for a measly 10 cents per ton. One day in 1914, Bernie, Dempsey's brother, fell ill, and his younger brother offered to fill in for him. Assuming the name Jack Dempsey for the first time that night, he won his brother's fight decisively and never relinquished the name. On Independence Day in 1919, Dempsey got his first big opportunity, a fight against the world heavyweight champion Jess Willard. No one in the boxing world thought the 187-pound Dempsey stood a chance. Despite his enormous disadvantage in size, Dempsey dominated Willard with his superior quickness and ruthless tactics, knocking the bigger man out in the 3rd round to earn the title of World Heavyweight Champion.
Powerless, and Dempsey combing right and left into it. Clear across the opposite corner, and there he's taken it again. How can the man stand it? And there he falls, his gloved hand feeling for the rope, trying to hold himself up.
Accounts of the fight reported that Willard suffered a broken jaw, broken ribs, several broken teeth, and a number of deep fractures to his facial bones.
The savagery that Dempsey displayed had never been seen in a boxing ring before. People couldn't believe it.
A new era in sports. It was an era Paul Gallico called the Golden Age of Sports, and the first man who was in the pantheon of greats was Jack Dempsey.
Dempsey successfully defended his heavyweight title 5 times over the next 6 years, in what is considered one of the greatest runs in boxing history. Despite his successes in the ring during this period, however, Dempsey was not particularly popular with the public. He had not served in the military when the United States entered World War I in 1917, leading some to view him as a slacker and draft dodger. Furthermore, an infamous and widely ridiculed photograph showed Dempsey at a Philadelphia shipyard, supposedly hard at work, but wearing shiny patent leather shoes. Dempsey's next defending fight was against French World War I hero Georges Carpentier, a fighter popular on both sides of the Atlantic. The Dempsey-Carpentier contest generated the first $1 million gate in boxing history. A crowd of 91,000 watched the fight. Though it was deemed the fight of the century, experts anticipated a one-sided win for Dempsey. Carpentier wobbled Dempsey with a hard right in the 2nd round. A reporter at ringside, however, counted 25 punches from Dempsey in a single 31-second exchange. Soon after, he was supposedly injured by the right. Dempsey ended up winning the match in the 4th round.
8, 9, he's up just in time. And Dempsey goes after him, and down again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's trying to get up. 8, 9, 10, and out. And Jack Dempsey remains.
Strangely, Dempsey finally achieved widespread popularity when he lost his championship title. In September of 1926, he was defeated by challenger Gene Tunney before a record crowd of 120,000 fans in Philadelphia.
We all expected to see Dempsey knock out Tunney. However, the fight didn't go that way.
Tunney's superior boxing ability thwarted Dempsey's rushes. He was a counterpuncher. Dempsey would rush in, throwing his punches rather wildly.
When the bruised and battered Dempsey returned to his hotel that night, his wife, shocked at his gruesome appearance, asked him what happened. Dempsey famously answered, "I forgot to duck." The hilarious and self-effacing anecdote made Dempsey something of a folk legend for the rest of his life. A year later, in 1927, Dempsey challenged Tunney to a rematch in a fight that would become one of the most controversial in boxing history. Dempsey knocked Tunney down in the 7th round, but forgot a new rule requiring him to return to a neutral corner while the referee counted, extending the pause in the fight. Dempsey's slip-up afforded Tunney at least 5 precious extra seconds to recover and return to his feet, and Tunney eventually won the fight. After his second loss to Tunney, Dempsey retired from boxing but remained a prominent cultural figure. He opened Jack Dempsey's restaurant in New York City, where he was famous for his hospitality and willingness to chat with any customer who walked through his doors. Dempsey ranked second only to Babe Ruth among the great American sport icons of the 1920s. He was inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 1954, and many commentators still rank him amongst the 10 greatest boxers of all time.
Belongs among the 5 greatest heavyweights of all time.
The guy had hands like hams, you know. They had to have special gloves made to work with and everything else.
Would hit the speed bag so hard that it would come off its hinges.
Known for his ruthless, unbridled violence in a prize fight, Dempsey was renowned for his warmth, kindness, and generosity outside of the ring. He displayed a level of sportsmanship perhaps unrivaled in the history of the notoriously violent sport. Half dazed and heartbroken after his loss to Tunney in the controversial long count match, Dempsey offered his opponent nothing but his earnest congratulations. A true boxing icon and legend of the sport, loved even from the most feared men that would come next.